What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on Ranger Central and another day for Chris Drury to do something as the New York Rangers have extended Jonathan Quick to a one-year deal at a little bit over a 1.5 million AAV. We're going to talk about it before we jump into everything. Please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn on your post notifications. I would do a live stream of this, but I am going to be busy today, so I didn't have time to do a live stream today. And of course, this news ends up breaking, so I just wanted to get a quick video up, give my thoughts, give my opinion. And honestly, I am going to get hate for this one, but I'm not a fan of this because of the fact that yes, 1.5 million for a backup is relatively reasonable. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that 1.5 million is some massive overpay for a backup goalie because that would just be stupid to complain about that part of it. My problem mostly is, when are you going to give Dylan Garand a chance in the NHL? Because how many times are they going to go down this road of extending Quick or just, paying a different backup versus giving the guy in the AHL who just went to the All-Star game and has had a very good season thus far in Hartford? When are you going to give that guy a chance? And with Jonathan Quick, you're starting to see the regression this year at age 40, and you're going to pay him more, or I should say, going into his age 40 season next year, you're going to give him more than you gave him last year, more than you're giving him this year. It is a little head scratching in that regard as well, where I get the Caps jumping, but he has had a down year. Like, when you look at the stats, when you look at the numbers, when it gets down to it, there has been games he stole, but you look at the difference between the 911 save percentage, 2.62 goals against last year, and that has dipped to an 896 with a 3.14 goals against average. And I'm not someone that looks at just baseline numbers. I like to look at goals saved above expected, but it is just not the same Jonathan Quick as we saw last year. And I felt even then, they caught lightning in a bottle last year with Jonathan Quick, that it would have been better to move on. They didn't move on, and he's been all right. The first part of this year really wasn't terrible, and we thought, okay, maybe Drury was right for extending Quick, and it's similar to what we saw last year where they caught lightning in a bottle. Maybe it's more than catching lightning in a bottle, and this is just going to work out. It has not worked out the same thus far this year, at least in the second half. He has not been great as of lately, where especially that last start that he had against the Columbus Blue Jackets was really poor. Did have the shutout recently against Nashville, but it is Nashville at the end of the day. But when you look at some of these games, allowing a lot of goals against the Buffalo Sabres, allowing 3 goals against Columbus. So there are games where he has looked good, like the Vegas one where he only allowed 2. But in my opinion, I just think it would have been the smart thing to move on, and you also effectively save cap if you go ahead and let Garon take the reins and let him start to get into that backup role a little bit. And that's why I felt too they should have traded Jonathan Quick at the trade deadline this past week, and then let Garon get some NHL games where, okay, if he does not look ready, we could just go ahead and sign a backup goalie or maybe bring back Quick in the offseason to let Garon get another year in the AHL. Where with this, how are you going to know what you're getting with him? And if Garon comes in next preseason and is killing it, you're in a spot where, okay, do we carry 3 goaltenders, or do we let him over marinate down in Hartford? Which, again, I don't know how much more room for improvement there is, considering the fact that he has had an all-star level season down there with the Wolfpack thus far. The numbers have dipped a little bit since the first half, but still, you're looking at a 912 save percentage, a 2.79 goals against, with a 16-7-7 record, which for the Hartford Wolfpack, by the way, who absolutely stink, that is pretty impressive that he's putting up that record and putting up those numbers with a team that is as poor as they are. And he has 3 shutouts on the season thus far. So it is a little head scratching in that regard, where, again, when are you going to give this kid some NHL action? Because it's getting to a point where, are you ever going to trust him? Because if not, you might as well move him at some point and just continue to sign these backup goalies. And it does make me wonder what Garon's deal is going to be next year, because I always felt, all right, you probably give him like a 2-year deal around 900K, something like that. Now I wonder what it's going to be, if it's still going to be similar where, you give him maybe half the year and you trade Quick at the deadline next year instead, depending on the results and depending how Garand is doing. But We will see. We will see. I guess they view it as all right, let's let Garand get one more year down Hartford, let him over marinate, and then bring him up. But it's just a little head scratching where, again, I felt that they should have just let him get some games of this year because of the fact that the season is kind of getting a little bit lost, especially now where it doesn't hurt to see what you got in him. And then if he doesn't have it, then you can make the decision to sign a backup for next season. I just would have preferred that route. But at the end of the day, Chris Drury gonna Chris Drury, and it is what it is. It's nothing against Jonathan Quick, which again, I have loved Jonathan Quick, and I think that he has been, better than I anticipated in a Rangers jersey, considering if you look back when they first signed him, I was not thrilled with the signing. I thought that it was ridiculous to get a regressing goaltender who was not good for 4 seasons, 5 seasons in a row, whatever it was, with the LA Kings. And then the Rangers signed him. And again, caught lightning in a bottle last year. The lightning is starting to fade from said bottle, which is where I have the concerns. Nothing against Quick. I love Jonathan Quick, and he's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. But it's just one of those things where I think it would have been the smart route to let the rookie, let the kid get an opportunity here and just see what he could provide while also maybe bringing in a veteran next offseason, similar to what they did with Louis Domingue, where it's a guy that could be down with Hartford if Garand is thriving, or if not, he could be the backup goalie. Where with 1.5 million to Jonathan Quick, I'm not sure what it would look like if they buried the contract, to be completely honest with you. So that could, dictate a lot of things, but we will see. I'm also curious if there's trade protection next year because we have seen this team just give trade protection time in and time out. And yeah, there is a modified no trade clause. So I don't know how many teams it's going to be. We'll have to wait and see if they announce that one. So similar to the contract of this past year, but it's just a little bizarre. It's a little bizarre because I get the cap's going up too, but how many times do we have to say with the contract? Well, the cap's going up because all of these dollars add up at the end of the day. And if you could save with a backup goaltender, even just a few extra dollars there, gives you an opportunity to where you could get help on your blue line, get help in your forward group where it really matters. And I don't know. That's just my opinion. Again, it's not a slight to Jonathan Quick. I love what Jonathan Quick has brought. It's been a surprise compared to what I thought he would be, but it's just one of those things where I felt it's time to move on and, see what you got with Garand, see maybe if there's another backup goaltender that you want to go after in the offseason. But I get it. You want to keep the guy you're comfortable with, keep the guy that has been here for the past 2 seasons now. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on the comment section down below. I overall have mixed feelings about this one because I also, even though I want Garand up, I do have the same feeling where it's not the worst thing to over marinate a prospect, but I would have preferred to see Garand up with this team relatively soon, especially because of the fact that I think it's time to go in a direction where you get younger. And again, you would have saved cap there. So that's just my opinion. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to leave a like if you haven't already. Don't forget to subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live. And I'll see you guys in the next one.